The new Tesla Model Y Standard is the cheapest version of the Model Y you can drive at just under $40,000 and is cheaper than the mid-level Tesla Model Y Premium by roughly $5,000. But what did it cost? We took a demo drive to experience the Model Y Standard for a day to find out. Tesla removed the front light bar, the rear LED light bar, replaced the vegan leather with a cloth material, and removed the cooling seats. Deleted the glass roof, removed the seat controls, and the most glaring change to me is the replacement of the frequency dampers with passive dampers that make the Model Y standard suspension feel more like the previous generation Model Y, which isn't a good thing. If you're interested in booking a demo drive to experience a Tesla firsthand, click on the link in the description. If you use our link, you'll help support our channel and get to see if a Tesla vehicle works for you. First thing that I'm noticing is just the appearance of the vehicle. It's very different than the premium Model Ys. You've probably seen a lot of those on the road these days. But the first thing that I'm noticing is that the lights, the headlights, and the DRLs don't have a connecting light bar on the front. The headlights from the premium Model Y have been relocated into the same housing as the DRL filament. So you still have a projector LED here, but in the DRL here, this switches to a signal light when you engage the signal light. There's definitely a pretty striking difference in the front of the vehicle. Now, if we move to the side profile looks pretty similar to the other Model Ys, but now when we go to the back, the taillights are pretty different from the premium. You don't have the LED light bar that comes across the entire lift gate or the tail of the Model Y. The brake lights are basically confined to the left and the right parts of the rear of the vehicle. You also don't have that reflective material that runs along the length here. It's just the same paint color as the rest of the vehicle. Speaking of the paint, this is an upgraded paint. It's the black color and it's about $1,500 more. So that's added on top of the cost of the vehicle. On top of that, these are upgraded rims. These are the 19-inch rims that also cost $1,500, I believe. So that's about $3,000 on top of the standard range Model Y. The differences extend into the interior of the vehicle. So you'll see this textile material here on the side of the doors, both in the front and in the back. And the textile theme also continues onto the seats, which is like this textile cloth material on the bottom cushion and the lower part of the backing. But then you do have the vegan leather here and also on the headrests. Now when you go into the vehicle, you'll note that there is no center console like you'd get in the premium Model Y or even in the previous generation Model 3 and Model Y. It's been replaced with this more open area where you can just drop bags or different things without having to confine it into the cubby hole of the console. It also does not have an LED light, accent light that goes along the front part of the dashboard. And also when you look up, you'll note that despite the fact that this is a glass roof, it has been covered up by a material here, so you no longer have the open roof that's pretty characteristic of many Teslas. And Tesla says that they do this because of the fact that they no longer have the dual pane glass here in the front to mitigate the noise, road noise. So to mitigate the loss of the double pane glass in the front here, they've went ahead and insulated the glass roof. And so that's what Tesla says, on top of the fact that it reduces the load on the HVAC system. Going on to the rear of the vehicle, the textile material also extends to the rear seats. And to fold down these seats, there is no electronic release like you have on the premiums. You basically have this pull tab. You pull this down, and the vehicle and the seat backing just drops, and you manually lift it as well when you want to put it back up. For the center console, you pull the tab, and it basically just drops down the center part of the seating assembly, and this basically acts as an armrest and a cup holder. Pretty elegant solution there. Definitely not as premium as the premium vehicles. And also when you're sitting back here, you'll note that they've gotten rid of the rear display and all you have are manually controlled vents as well as two USB-Cs. Some people might see that as a downgrade. When you go to the back of the vehicle, you see it has still a powered liftgate, which is great, and it still has the underfloor storage here. Still have the two storage compartments on both sides here. There's no cover that comes for the rear, so you'd have to add that on an aftermarket or as an accessory. But it does have one-touch close for the liftgate. Now going back to these seats, you no longer have the power controls on the seat itself. There are still power controls through the screen. And if you click on the seat icon, you'll see that you can control the seats this way. And if you want to control the mirrors, you can do so. You can still do that electronically here. But if you wanted to push the mirrors in, you would have to do that manually, like so. The other thing to note is that this is a manually adjustable steering wheel, unlike the other Teslas, the premium Model Ys that have electronic adjustable steering wheels. So that's not such a bad thing either. I think having some manual controls is kind of welcome. And some of the things that have stayed the same. The camera suite on this vehicle is still the same. So all the FSD cameras from the premium are still present here. You've got the side camera here, you've got the front mounted cameras, and then you will also still have the bumper mounted camera here. Speaking on some of the different materials on the door, not just the textile, but you also have the cubby holes here on the doors. They're not lined with felt like you'd find on the premiums. So it's not as much sound deadening material here. And I think it's the same on the rear. Just want to make sure. Yeah, that's right. So there's no felt lined material here. You still have the emergency door release here. So it's the safety feature still included. And also, speaking of the door, there's a speaker here, but overall the vehicle has only 7 speakers instead of the, I believe 14 speakers with a subwoofer on the premiums. So there's definitely a degradation in the sound quality coming from the stereo, and it's noticeable. So this Model Y still has the window sticker on it, and you'll note that it's got some of the options here. The 19-inch crossflow wheels are $1,500. The diamond black paint is a $1,500 option. And I think those are the only two options that you can really add to the standard range Model Y, which is basically the upgraded wheels and the upgraded paint. Speaking of the paint, there's only 3 paint choices. It's got the darker gray color, I forget the name of it, this diamond black paint, and then also the white. So the white and the black are upgrades costing $1,500. Like the other Teslas, the Model Y Standard does have a frunk, but Tesla recommends that you don't store anything valuable in there. And this is likely due to the fact that the frunk is no longer weather sealed. It's made of a basic fiber material instead of plastic, and it certainly looks like it wouldn't be able to protect anything that you put in there. All right, so just put this in FSD. This is, again, version 14.2.1, so it's the newest version of FSD. I don't really anticipate this being much different than our experience in our current Model 3. This has the same level of cameras plus one more camera, which is the front bumper camera. So in a way, despite this being the lowest level of Model Y, it's still already on another level in terms of camera technology than our Model 3. So after spending some time in this standard range Model Y, I am wondering about how popular this version is going to be. I can see this being valuable on a value perspective. You know, you are saving $5,000 off of the next level Model Y. But I also wonder if experiencing the standard range Model Y will just push people to want the premium Model Ys more, because the amount of things that Tesla has cut from this to make it $5,000 cheaper might just entice them to just spend a little bit more and get the upgraded Model Y. I mean, especially if you're on a payment, like a lease, or which I guess leasing is not available yet on this version. But if you are, you know, even financing this, kind of on a typical auto loan, that $5,000 might not seem as much of a burden, especially with the upgrades that you get on the premium Model Ys. I think this will be more important when robotaxis become part of kind of everyday life, when people are actually when people can start businesses with robotaxi fleets. If you're wanting to run a fleet of 10 to 20 robotaxis, you probably want the cheapest version, because people that are going to be getting in your robotaxis don't really care about the premium features. They just want to get from point A to point B as quickly and as safely as possible. And this version of the Model Y has everything that you need for that. It has the same camera suite, has the same FSD computer, it has the same emergency braking, lane departure, all of the safety features that you would get on the higher Model Y versions are still going to be on this version of the Model Y. So you won't have any compromises on the safety front, which is the most important part, I would think, for someone that's running a robo-taxi fleet. If you've made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. There are links in the description below if you want to book your own demo drive and experience a Tesla for yourself, whether it's this Tesla Model Y standard range or another Tesla. You'll help support our channel if you use our link and get to try out a Tesla, try out FSD, try out supercharging, see if it works for your lifestyle. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.